Have you ever just stopped and wondered, how do we do it? How do we go from knowing absolutely nothing in a new language to, well, telling a whole story? It's not magic, I promise. It's actually a blueprint. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct that very blueprint by looking at one of the first, most basic stories anyone ever learns to tell, what they did today. So, let's jump right in.
So let me ask you, what did you do today? It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But wow, when you're learning a new language, being able to answer that question, that's a huge deal. It's a massive milestone. It's really the first time you can open up your own world and share a piece of your story with someone else.
And that's because, before you can tell any story, you've got to have the building blocks, right? So today, we're going to break down exactly what those blocks are. We'll use a simple guide as our map to see how it all clicks together.
All right, first up, we need the raw materials, the words themselves. And listen, we're not talking about just grabbing a dictionary and picking words at random. No way. We're talking about these specific, absolutely essential words that describe the actions and, the people in any typical day.
It all starts with something super small, an action, a single word, like this one, get. Then we add another little piece, a direction, up.
And boom, just like that, you have get up, a complete, understandable action that literally starts the day for billions of us. That's the magic we're talking about here, taking these tiny, simple pieces and creating something powerful, something everyone gets.
I mean, just look at this list of actions. They're so universal, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. It doesn't matter if you're in Tokyo or Toronto, your day is probably built around these core things: having breakfast, going to work, doing chores, listening to some music. These are the fundamental whats that make up your daily story.
So if the verbs are the what, well, the nouns have to be the who, right? Every story needs its characters. And what's cool here is the range we're given. You've got a farmer, a factory worker, a doctor, a teacher, heck, even an influencer. Each one of these jobs is a whole different story just waiting to be told.
Okay, so we've got our words, we've got our pile of bricks. But a pile of bricks isn't a house, right? You need a blueprint. And that's grammar. Don't let the words scare you. It's just the rule book, the logical system that tells us how to connect all those little building blocks to make something that actually makes sense. And to talk about a daily routine, you need a very specific tool from that rule book. It's called the simple present tense. The easiest way to think about it is as the always tense. It's for all the stuff that happens over and over again. Your habits, your routines, the basic truths of your life. And this, right here, this is probably the number one thing that trips up new learners. That tiny little S at the end of the verb. You say, I work, but then you have to say, she works S. It seems so small, but it's a huge rule. And honestly, seeing it laid out like this just makes the pattern click. It's so much clearer. And guess what? The same simple logic applies when you want to make a sentence negative. It's not some crazy complex thing. It's just a formula. You literally just pop in do not or does not right before the verb. So she works becomes she does not work. See? Simple, clean, and it just works. So what about asking questions? Well, it's just as simple. It's like a recipe. Step 1, you start with one of the magic words, do or does. Step 2, you add the person. Step 3, the action. And bam, just like that, you're not just stating facts anymore. You're starting a conversation. Does a farmer drive at work? That's a total game changer right there. Okay, this is it. This is the moment we've been building up to. We've got the words, we've got the rules. Now, let's see what happens when we put it all together and tell an actual story. So, let's meet Tom. Listen to this. He gets up at 5 a.m. and has a big breakfast. Did you catch that? It uses everything we just talked about. He gets up, not he get up. He has a big breakfast. It's so simple, so clear, and boom, you can already picture his life, can't you? Okay, now let's meet Anna. And this is what's so cool. We're using the exact same rules, but for a totally different life. She also gets up, she eats breakfast, and she takes the bus. See? The grammar underneath it all is identical, but just by swapping out a few keywords, like bus for tractor or city for countryside, we get a completely different story.
And here it is, the big reveal. When you put their lives side by side like this, you really see the power of this whole system. It's the exact same grammatical skeleton holding up two totally different lives. And that is just incredible, because it means that once you master this one simple structure, you basically have the power to describe almost any daily routine on the entire planet. How cool is that? So, why does this work so well? Why is this method so darn effective for learning a language? Well, it's because it's not random at all. It's a carefully designed blueprint for building communication literally from the ground up. So, when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway here? It's that the path to communication is actually super logical. You start with something we all share, a daily routine. You get the tools, the words. You learn the simple rules that put them together. And then, from those very simple parts, you can build real, meaningful stories about your own life. It's really this beautiful, efficient journey from silence to connection. And that brings it all right back to you. Look, we've covered the easy parts of the day, but I want you to think about your day, your actual unique routine. That quiet moment with your first cup of coffee, that super complicated project you're trying to figure out at work, that inside joke you share with a friend. What's the one part of your day that would be the hardest to explain? Because figuring out how to answer that question, well, that's where the real adventure in learning a language begins. Thanks for hanging out with me today.